to the African Broadcasting Network News. I am Chekube Isaac Eze. Now our hit stories for today. The Action Teenagers for Christ Ministry of Word of the Bible Church yesterday concluded its one-week skill acquisition program for teens with an exhibition to showcase the items produced by the trainees of the program. The exhibition was attended by the senior pastor of Word of the Bible Church, Pastor Ayo Richard Jaffor, who commended the initiative, which was geared to empowering the teenagers in the church. At the exhibition, household items, food and Kara-made wares and others made by the trainees were displayed. Speaking to the ABN News, the facilitators of the program praised the teenagers' commitment during the skill acquisition program, adding that the scheme will have an overwhelming impact on the participants and their families.
I wanted my teenagers around to be able to do things and be adventurous in the kitchen just like I am. That's why I taught them some continental delicacies. I taught them minced meat cabbage stew. I taught them how to make plantain frittata. I taught them how to make yam piccata. I also taught them how to make mashed potatoes yesterday. So the idea of this is for them to be able to make and invent things in the kitchen. So that's why I really wanted them to learn.
I would say it's been wow. It's awesome. I never really expected from them. Like I told them the first day we met on Monday, I said they are privileged. As a youth, as a teenager, we went direct to the youth class, but not the youth church. Sorry to say, not the teenage church. For them, it was encouraging because since Monday to date, they've been going from one lesson to another, and some of them were like, on Sunday they are going to practicalize it at home. Yeah, and it's a really, really, really huge opportunity for them.
They've done very, very well. In fact, for any child to be able to learn within the period of 1 week, that's a pass mark, that's over 100.
The participants of the program expressed appreciation for the opportunity to learn various skills and pledged to impact their families and society with the knowledge.
From this training, so what have you learned so far?
Yeah, I learned how to make soap and to make air freshener, bleach, and azide and Dettol.
Yeah, it's been really nice. I've learned a lot of things. Today is my first time learning back, and it's very wow. It's very interesting.
What difference will this training impact on you as a person?
It will give me the opportunity to start doing some of these things by myself. Because most of them are household and we use them at home, so we can make them and save our parents some of this stress of buying in the market and all that.
Also speaking, the coordinator of the program, who stressed the need for the acquisition of skills in addition to education, urged parents to allow their wards participate in acquisition program that will better their lives.
The truth is, what I expect from them is that they should learn a trade, have a skill that they are passionate for, a skill that after now, like the household, they have been able to make the different types of household, ranging from the hand wash to dish wash to all the antiseptics to car wash. If they are able to make things like this, they will be able to make a living for themselves as teenagers.
She added that she hoped to continue the skill acquisition program every year. Militants in the Niger Delta under the auspices of the Coalition of the Niger Delta Agitators have threatened fresh actions against the interest of the Nigerian government in the region if the country is not restructured. A statement signed by the leader of the Niger Delta watchdog, Mr. John Duku in Uyo, noted that the threat became necessary following many anti-democratic actions by the federal government. He condemned the recent freezing of the Akwa Ibom State government accounts by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, noting that it as an act of intimidation by the agents of the federal government and the ABC in order to weaken the smooth running of the government in the Niger Delta state. He warned that the EFCC and other agents of government desist from this act of official recklessness and breach of the Constitution. He described as regrettable and alleged use of the EFCC as a tool to fight perceived political opponents instead of carrying out its constitutional duties without bias as stipulated in the Constitution. The nation's foreign exchange reserves have fallen by $990.98 million this month, latest data from the Central Bank of Nigeria showed on Sunday. The external reserves, which stood at $47.11 billion at the end of last month, declined to $46.128 billion on August 23, 2018. The CBN noted that the evolution of the forex market in the country have been influenced by a number of factors such as the changing patterns of international trade, institutional changes in the economy, and structural shifts in production. A former president Association of the National Accountants of Nigeria, Dr. Sam Nzekwe, who described oil as the nation's major revenue earner, said the reserves had grown in recent months because oil price was increasing and production was constant. He, however, said political uncertainties had led to a decline in foreign investment as many investors were taking their funds out of the country, and that most of the investors had not really been investing in the real sector. He added that although the government was investing in infrastructure, the investment in infrastructure was mostly being constructed by foreigners with foreign materials. And on news from around the world. Emerson Mnangagwa assumed to take the presidency of Zimbabwe in a ceremony at the National Stadium of Harare. The new head of state called all citizens of this country to participate in the efforts of economic development and promised better services, more jobs, and the construction of a better future for all. The head of justice, Luke Malaba, swore in Mnangagwa as a new head of state and government who expressed his commitment to respect and abide by the constitution and laws of the country, as well as protect its population. Mnangagwa thanked his people for the hospitality showed to foreign observers of the election process and their confidence to his person by electing him leader. He assured the authorities will investigate the violent incident of August 1st promised by the Alliance Movement for Democratic Change and called to respect the people's will. He assured that over the next 5 years, his government will modernize the country, advancing in industrialization and mechanization. It will improve public services such as health and sanitation, will boost efficiency and create jobs to achieve a prosperous Zimbabwe. Iranian lawyers will ask the International Court of Justice on Monday to order the United States to lift sanctions ordered by the Trump administration against Tehran. The lawsuit filed with the ICJ, also known as the World Court, said the U.S. sanctions, which are damaging its already weak economy, violate terms of a little-known 1955 friendship treaty between the two countries. The United States, which will respond formally to oral arguments on Tuesday, has yet to issue a public response. U.S. lawyers are expected to argue that the United Nations courts should not have jurisdiction in the dispute, that the friendship treaty is no longer valid, and that the sanctions Washington had levied against Tehran do not violate it anyway. The oral hearings, essentially a request by Iran for a provisional ruling, will last for 4 days, with a decision to follow within a month. The ICJ in the United Nations Tribunal for Resolving International Disputes. Its rulings are binding, but it has no power to enforce them, and on rare occasions, they have been ignored by some countries, including the United States. And now on sports. Serena Williams launches a bid for a record-equaling 24th Grand Slam title on Monday, sharing the Arthur Ashe Stadium stage with defending men's champion Rafael Nadal in a blockbuster U.S. Open Monday. The two superstars, who own 40 Grand Slam titles between them, headline an opening day that sees 8 former U.S. Open champions in actions. Williams got 6 U.S. Open titles amongst her 23rd Grand Slam. With one more, she will equal Margaret Court's all-time record for major titles. But the U.S. superstar is something of the unknown quantity as she seeks a first Slam title since the birth of daughter Olympia last September. She's shown flashes of the old brilliance since her return in March, reaching the final at Wimbledon only to fall to Germany's Angelique Kerber. Williams opens a campaign against Poland's Magda Linette The world number 60, whose first career match against the imposing American, will thrust into the glory of the Asher Stadium lights on a night when organizers are pulling out all the stops in celebration of the 50th anniversary of the US Open. That's it on our hit stories for today. For more news relay, don't forget to hook up with African Broadcasting Network for more news on our subsequent bulletins, or you can follow us on our social media platform by visiting our website at www.abnchannel.net. Follow us on Twitter at ABN Channel, like us on Facebook at ABN. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel at the African Broadcasting Network, and also on Instagram at ABN Channel. My name is Chekube Isaac Eze. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.